up 14 layers today. She's still goddamn cold out there.
It's recording now, my friend, so let's just fucking blow it. And I'd like, before we start, I'd like to put an apology to anybody else. Yeah. Not that I would offend anybody that might get triggered by or be offended by anything.
You mean, come on, brother. We care so much we swear. That's the key.
Well, it's not just that. They're me. Listen, this is a caveat prior. It's just I'm not worried about what I say anymore. If it offends anybody else, I'm sorry about that. Not my problem. There's the first part. Let's just crack on. Skidoos.
Good.
Is it anything like a jet ski?
It's no, well, kind of. There's like a rubber thing goes around at the back and then skis on the front, so you fly across the snow and drive over your buddies and drink lots of beer, and that's how it works.
We did that with motorbike. But when you're right, have you been on a jet ski?
No, I haven't.
We can't draw the comparison then, because I have. It's like, I wonder whether riding one of them is like riding on the water. It's just less painful.
It's pretty well the same, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, have you got your volume turned up? I'm as high as I can go. I can't hear you too good, but.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's about the same. Try again. Testing.
Oh, it's your phone then. It's not me.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably my phone.
I'd be surprised if it's me, because that's very, very close to that mic, my friend. And
I can hear you.
Normally that's quite loud. And I may get louder, you know, as we get involved in.
Well, I see the barber shop is open right next to me, so I can't holler too loud, and I might not be able to use the F word when I really want to, but I'll just bear with it. And maybe it's better that your voice is not as loud, because then if anybody walks by.
Well, that's okay. I'll take the expletives for you, my friend. It's okay. It's a cross up there. I don't mind using a bit of language on your behest. You know, I'll speak with Randy, and you can be Randall.
Okay, fine. So what the fuck's up, buddy?
Does that work? Oh man. Well, I was thinking about this a little bit earlier and thought, do I let Randy set the tone? Shall we just go with the flow and let Randall set the tone around Mr. Kaiser, Randy, my friend, my brother, set the tone? Or do we just say, you know what, fuck the tone and let's see where this goes?
See where this goes.
Where are we? Where are we on the plane net? Fuck.
Well, we're in the 10 days of darkness, where the people that are running the show are just going to sit back and let everybody sort themselves out, hug each other if they have to, you know, give each other a fucking hug if that's what it takes, or rip the Band-Aid off even further and get into this deeper and deeper, which is what I like to do, and I think you do too. So
let the fucker heal, all right? Or whatever the wound is, let the heal. And who's in a position to say how humanity should heal?
Yeah.
And that's where I struggle a little bit at this point is we've got people saying, well, people won't be able to accept that. People won't be able to accept this. People won't know what to do with that. Fuck that.
So what? Yeah.
Let him heal.
Either that or, you know, go in and get your Morgellons shoved up your fucking nose into your brain and let them go start working on your pineal gland. That's the other choice. I mean, the COVID test is obvious that that's what it is. You know, it's not cotton batting, boys and girls. It's a fucking live Morgellon turning loose into that noodle of yours. You want to fucking screw around with the fucking pineal gland? That's nothing compared to what that little bastard's going to do with its nanobot technology. Come on.
Fucking hell, Mr. Kaiser. Let's get a jump straight into that then. Yeah, the blood-brain barrier at the back of the nasal cavity is quite an interesting access.
Quite interesting, to say the least, bro.
Access point to the old grey noodle. And why would they need to swab that so severely with something that can damage it and open up that blood-brain barrier for other things to get in there, which can infect there's probably a reason why it's fucking there. There's probably a reason why they need to pump that all the way up to it to get into it, rather than just take it off the tongue. But let's not question that, because that's questioning science.
Well, no, you might swallow those little fibers, and they'll go into your stomach and then out in your poop. And there's no fucking point in that. You
Oh,
got to get them closer. You got to get them closer to this thing than, you know.
what fibers, my friend? The nanotechnology that they're trying to impregnate us with? No, no, that's all lies and conspiracy. We know this. The same as the chemtrails in the weather. I've heard lots and lots on that lately. Chemtrails, my ass. Sorry, contrails, chemtrails, whatever you want to call them. And weather manipulation through harmonic amplification, etc., etc. But no, it's just rocket fuel. It's contrails. You're all mad. All mad.
Okay, let me go back a few years with you. Okay, to another UK buddy of mine named Mark Purdy. Just after the BSE, you know, the bovine spongiform
encephalitis.
Okay. Yes. So Mark came up with this theory that it was completely a natural process once again, and that all we were doing at that point was embedding more heavy metals into the brains of animals through the feed or through other processes, accumulating these on these prions, which are the natural form of getting rid of stuff like that out of our brain and out of other areas of our body, but mostly the brain. So those prions became attached to the wrong heavy metals, right? So then they became bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're to a point where these prions could not escape. They couldn't get out of where they were supposed to be, right? And then it was a matter of, I'm going to do this noise, okay? Clap your hands, and that cow would go in bananas, or take it up a notch to a sonic boom or some kind of noise from a military base, and down those cows would go, laying on the ground dead because their brain couldn't handle it. You see, figured all that out, and then he died accidentally on his pillow one night.
On his what?
On his pillow one night, he died.
Hello, natural
causes. Exposed that.
Natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it put down to natural causes?
I think that's basically what they said. Yes.
Heart attack orientated.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I didn't know him that well. I only met him once, so I can't guarantee that he was taken out, so to speak. You know, he could have had some other stuff going on too. That's why I don't like to go all the way into that realm, you know, and say that
spongiform encephalitis,
right?
Dementia,
yeah,
Alzheimer's,
which is what's going on in the human brains too. I mean, there's way more humans out there with Alzheimer's, if you want to call it that, or whatever nowadays, and it's because of the same thing. We're distributing those through the chemicals in our food and our air, as you just pointed out, into the atmosphere, and we go around going, oh, that smells good, that fresh air in the city coming down from those airplanes.
Coming down, yeah, man, fucking spray them and bury them. No, I was watching something yesterday, and it was an interesting one by a guy that I've still got a lot of time for, talking about the weather manipulation and the frequency manipulation of the stratospheres, and using it with aluminium oxide, nanoparticled aluminium oxide, i.e. kind of like a sandpaper. Very small particles let out inside the jet fuel, because jet fuel is doesn't freeze until minus 65. Yeah. So they can release it as the adjutant. The jet fuel is the adjutant, which contains the barium. So you've got the ball, barium and aluminium for the ball. But there was also, this is from the 20s onwards, and it was an interesting concept that they were using the frequency to use, you know, when we talk about firmament, not as a solid, but as a matter. And the more you actually energize the matter, the more it becomes intolerant for something coming through it at speed. So this is the weaponization of, the defense systems in the atmosphere vibrating at very high speed, stopping missiles. And I thought to myself, it's a great explanation for why this is there. But the problem being is that You've told us we're all fucking idiots for questioning it for many, many years. And now it's being proven to be the truth. And you thought initially that there was an idea of it's going to take 30 or 40 years for this stuff to fall out of this jet stream, and it's falling within 6 months. Yes, it doesn't fall where it was fucking sprayed, but nevertheless it does fall, which is an aluminium nanocoating of everything on the planet, which changes the biosphere that we're living in completely and introduces more heavy metals into the body which weren't there prior, certainly man-made metals of nanite particle size. And not only does that go into the water supply, but the food supply and the tree supply and the biosphere as a whole. And therefore change the insect life and the biospheric life and the atomic life outside of everything, because now all of a sudden it's got a different environment to live in, because we needed defending against a fucking missile that we fucking made.
Yeah.
We can't tell anybody we've got to defend against these fucking man-made objects by fucking up the biosphere, because they won't. We got to keep that quiet for their own protection.
Yeah.
I'm at a little bit of a point where our own protection becomes a little bit of an issue unless we know what it is that we need protecting against. And it seems very much like at a certain level, it's ourselves.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but I don't need protecting against myself. I'm quite happy. I'm quite okay.
Right. So Lee, let me put it. I'm gonna put a little bit of a good twist on this. First, I'll start off with saying that, you know, those that are in the know will call this the Iron Age or whatever. You know, well, metal is metal. You know, like we can call it what we like, and then they play around with that one in our heads as far as mythology or, you know, some kind of spiritual word, Iron Age and Golden Age and all that crap. But the good part of this is that those who are doing this are doing it at such a small nano rate, as to affect the average human being. But healthy living can actually build an immune system to this as well, right? So they know that, and they're you know, eating the organics and staying away from chemicals in their food and stuff like that, hoping that, you know, over time they'll survive and the minions and the sheep will become lesser and lesser, right? That's the basic, simple, you know, truth behind it. However, there's so many of us that have woken up to these ideas and passing this on that, you know, healthy living is becoming a little bit more common these days.
Yeah,
Yeah, expensive, true. And that's where it all boils down to, is money. You don't get me wrong.
And laughed at.
I'm trying to throw a little bit of hope in here, okay?
Oh man, there's fuckloads of hope in there. Don't get me wrong. There is dog loads. And this is the beauty of this. It's nothing. There's nothing I'm saying at any point in time or anybody that isn't hope filled. And in fact, it's not even hope. It's not no filled. This is
right.
more of a status quo retrospective conversation than it is a forward-looking conversation at this point. It's just like, no, correct. Fuck this, right?
This is the time to let it all out.
Let's just say it as it is. Yes, yes. With hope, with perfection moving towards completion on the other side of this. So none of this is negative in the slight. Look, smiling. Just fucking laughing at it and saying, for fuck's sake, right, enough's enough. Now,
yes,
it's enough.
That's right. And we're going to cover many topics today, but the one that I wanted to start with before I forget it,
yes,
is that, you know, we can swear all we want. That's fine, because swearing is caring in my mind. But the one about using certain words that'll get us, you know, kind of in the bad books, so to speak. So I came up with one this morning. It's, you know how pneumonia is PN,
yep,
right? And it sounds like an N instead of a P. So I'm just going to use, so I'm just going to use the P, but think of it as PN, okay? The Patsy, we can't use that word.
We can't use
Get
Patsy.
me? Yes. So Patsy, but think of it as PN and the N sound.
Oh, no, right? No. We won't touch on that. We won't talk about Reichs.
And the other one is cryonists, you know? So cry, CRYIONIST. And they're just a bunch of fucking crybabies that know that they can't get away with it any longer because there's too many of us out there that have caught on to this patsy cryonist agenda.
Which is just an extrapolation of a previous agenda.
And they're scared shitless, and they're just running, and they're running around in towers like this with their fucking masks on, like they're scared of dying. Oh my God.
I wonder if we can, let me just think about this, if we can put this in conduits instead of,
okay.
If we can think of the word con and replace it with JUS, JES, the conduits.
Yeah.
That fits. And naan bread instead of, no, Nananites, instead of the other side of Abel's brother. Whatever. Whatever. It all goes back and back and back. But I'm not worried about what was necessarily. I'm worried about what is right now and what has been the last little bit and what is going to be. And what is going to be is so much better, right?
Yes.
So let's take a little stab with a little bit of a short sword and swing it ferociously for the fucking hell of it about what is now and what is transpiring, and also in the information that's being given by cryonists.
The Patsy cryonists.
Yeah,
I knew you'd like that word. Those words.
For the masses, right? And then one of the things that is really interesting to me is the information that's coming out in alternative. I'd like to use alternative media because they're the ones that are getting censored, right? So we're the ones that are being censored because we're alternative, and there's an awful lot more that are. And the alternative media is giving it, but there's a plan. Oh, but there's a plan. Well, we know there's a fucking plan. No. Then extrapolating from that plan is, you need to be this, or you need to be that, or you need to be the other. No, we don't need to be fucking anything apart from aware of the fucking plan. Right? Sorry if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm wrong. We don't need to be doing this or that or the other, like you're saying. In alternative fucking news, man. Alternative news. Alternative media is telling people bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, be true to your fucking self.
That's right.
There.
And that's the only plan there is just to become Christed conscious. I like the word Christ or crystal, Krystall. Like, learn and know yourself. Know what the truth is, because it's all inside of you. You don't have to go outside to fucking get the common sense. It's all right here. Common sense.
One of the interesting parts of this is, though, that people have been so indoctrinated. There's an awful lot of alternative media that's given it. People need to learn. People need to wake up. People need to do the research. People need to do this, that, and the other. Well, what's the first thing they fucking research when they get a chance to is alternative media? And what are they doing? Yeah. Feeding them full of the same cryonist bullshit. I forget the word, but they are, and feeding them full of individual selfish thought systems, which are not part of of you. You're looking outside for something else. And this is, I totally understand why people would look into alternative media, alternative information, but only to find the same fucking bullshit wrapped up in a different fucking present with a different bow written on top that leads to the same bullshit agenda.
Yeah.
So now, where do people look for truth? They can't look inside because they don't know how to do it. They get taught how to do it by a shitload of charlatans. And I'm sorry if I'm not blaming everybody, guys. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are really, really, really good. Yeah. On the same basis. So it's not one tar brushing the lot, one brush tarring everybody. But there's an awful lot of this I've seen in the last little bit of time. And these guys that are just about trying to find their way to their heart are also being disillusioned by all the bullshit that's being pumped out by the apparent light workers. It annoys me to a certain degree, but to everybody's path, it's their own path, it's their own journey. But how do you fight through the shit and then be blamed because you couldn't find it. And I'm guilty of this. Ignorance is a choice.
Yep.
But to
We're
find
always learning, brother.
to find the truth through the bullshit at the moment is very, very difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm seeing an awful lot of misinformation, disinformation, malfeasance, and deceit. And we know that happens predominantly in mainstream media.
Yeah.
But that's infiltrated into alternative media now.
Yep.
So where are
Sorry,
we?
I'm just gonna pick up and move again here a little ways because
I'm not swearing too much.
no. Well, I am, but I like it. Well, there's a bunch of these pointy-toed suit guys walking around, and every time I cut loose a little bit with that truth, they're staring at me and giving me dirty looks. So I'm gonna go just around the corner here. Waste. Just hold on.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I think we've got all the time in the world, my friend. We've got all the time in the world.
That's right. And I don't mind if they listen. I actually like it. Like I like to speak really loud about the cryonist agenda and stuff, and talk about how fucking ridiculous it is to wear those fucking masks, you dumb assholes. But I'm sorry, did I say that out loud again? These
I'm very, very aware of not.
I'm in the towers.
Sorry.
Like I'm in the towers, buddy. So I'm in amongst these executives, right? They wear their suits and their ties and have their education and their everything else. And they're fucking walking around with those stupid things on their face. It just drives me nuts. Like, fucking wake up, boys. You guys are supposed to be the intelligent ones that the rest of society is following because of your lead. You wear your tie, you get your hair cut for $50 fucking in that little barber shop I was right beside just now. And they're staring at me and fucking giving me dirty looks. Wake the fuck up. I mean, those are the people that need to wake up, is the academians, the fucking Scientology people, scientists and stuff like that, because most people follow them. They don't want to follow a goof like me with a fucking cowboy hat who's got a fucking crude language. But by God, you want to hear some fucking truth, then listen to Lee and I, a couple bald-headed fuckers that know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, I'm in the hat fucking brigade. Fuck it. Let's get the truth out. Fuck it. Right.
That's right.
No, you don't want to listen to us. You want to listen to those academics who have been indoctrinated into believing. I had a conversation a little bit earlier about public school versus private school. Fucking whatever it is, indoctrination camps, and the level of, I've seen this lived experience, the level of accepting authority above humanity, the level of accepting intolerable situations above boundaries, the breaking down of all of the common sense commonality within the individual to produce exceptionalism, assuming that they are an underling, a suckling to their perceived higher authority, which is created within that structure. And they're the ones that were the leaders of humanity. I'm sorry, they're not. And their indoctrination will make it very, very difficult for them to lose their pride and not be scornful of those that aren't, in their eyes, as educated as they are. No, you weren't educated. You were vaccinated.
I got a great friend, and he is, like, honest to God, he's a class action lawyer and a virologist, okay? So the man is trained like you wouldn't believe. I don't know how many fucking years of university it took. But we became really close friends through that BSE bullshit story that I just talked about earlier. And he wouldn't buy into my thoughts quite that far, but at the same time he fought the government and for us. And he's still at it. Like, it's fucking, I don't know how many years it is, like 2003, I think. So that's like 17 years ago that it happened, destroyed our fucking industry in our country. And he's still trying through the Supreme Court system to get something for the fucking ranchers that lost. Our cattle herd numbers in Canada are about half of what we had in those days. If that isn't controlling the food supply, what the fuck is? Oh, man, so anyway, I just want to finish on him. So he's like I said, we became good friends, sang opera at the, we'd go up and speak in front of fucking farmers and stuff on the microphone. We'd sing a little bit. We'd get these fucking farmers thinking properly. knowing what the fuck was going on at the time. I swore a little bit, got in trouble with some of the ladies that would say, you know, you got a good message, but you got to watch your mouth. Satan is watching you. I said, Mary, her name was Mary, which is kind of cute. Anyway, Mary says to me, but Randy, Satan. I said, Mary, Satan is the crazy thoughts inside your head. There's nothing else going on here, sweetheart. You know, there's no fucking anthropomorphic nasty deity out there. It's just fucking humans. And oh my God, poor Cam, she's fucking coming down on me with the sword of vengeance and everything else in this dance hall thing where we were speaking. And Cam, this lawyer, he's on the other side, he comes running over. Guys, shut the fuck up. What's the matter with you? This was fucking 20 years ago, buddy. But that man, I had him on the phone maybe about a month ago. And we started talking, and he started in on me about fucking wearing a mask and stuff. And I said, Cameron, are you serious? Like, you're gonna fucking try and get through this thick fucking skull right here and tell me that there's something going on that I need to pay attention to? I said, you can fucking yatter on all you want. He started coughing. He was just so mad at me. He was like coughing on the phone. And I said, fuck, buddy, take a breath. You're going to get the fucking COVID if you don't watch. He's pissed. He fucking hung up on me. And I may have lost a friend over this. You know?
No, you didn't. It's just the programming. God. It's the fucking indoctrination programming. It's their belief that this is true. Because I was thinking about this the other day on a certain level with people. And I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, funny enough. Which is kind of normal. But for them to agree that masks are them, there's no them in us, by the way. So
no,
it's not a them versus us, or that's vice versa. It's just a disparity at the moment.
Right.
Or others to agree that the mask is pointless. They have to agree that the whole thing is pointless.
Right.
To give one credence of this makes no sense to me means they have to accept that all of it makes no sense to them. They can't go. Again, wrong terminology, but they can't go from one piece being wrong. It all has to be right. Otherwise, the whole lot's wrong.
Yep.
So the longer this goes on, the more that they've got to agree that they were lied to and were fooled, and this goes back to everything. And this is unlearning, relearning. And that's the difference between this point in time. So I don't wear a mask. Somebody that does cannot see how you can't. Because if you can't wear a mask, you don't believe in any of it.
That's right.
I don't. You're right. I don't believe in any of it. It's all fucking lies. But for you, it's all got to be true. Otherwise, everything goes tits up here and you blow fuses.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if that's the wrong way of putting it, but it's the fucking truth. And this is cognitive dissonance. And this is where this kicks in. I was unfortunately in a shop a bit earlier talking to stood with my basket of groceries, waiting for a very old lady to have her shop. And she was saying something about something. And I tried to interject and just make a nice conversation. And she turned around, looked at me and walked out. And I said to the girl behind the counter who doesn't wear a mask, and she's lovely, I said,
oh, nice.
That's a shame. I said, it happens all the time with people that don't speak to you. And then I said to her, what would you stuff peppers with? And another lady had walked up behind me and she said, lentils or chickpeas. And I turned around and I was like, why somebody is talking to me without a mask on? And she was wearing a mask, but she was talking to me like I'm a human. I'm not like, I'm a human. I'm not a viral disease. I'm not full of it. I'm not going to kill your grandparents. But this is what the indoctrination's put into people. And this is the belief that's in people. And it's just lies. It's just lies.
Yes.
It's all lies. And at a certain point in time, you've got to realize it's fucking lies. And the same with what's on the TV box that tell lies to your vision. It's lies. It's a scripted frigging film that didn't happen in real time. But don't believe me, all right? Just tell me I'm wrong. And then in a few months' time, when it turns out that you were maybe not quite so right as you thought you were, blame me for it. or Randy, or whoever else has been doing this stuff, because we wear fucking hats and no masks.
Yep.
Right? Blame us if you want.
It's all fine.
Until you learn to forgive. And that's the kicker, is the forgiveness. Until truth comes out, and truth needs to fucking come out. And this is the bit that's not, I'm not angry. Have a nice day. But the point being is that without the truth coming out to the people, then there's no way for the people to be held responsible for what their indoctrination process has put into them. And blaming the people for their lack of cognitive awareness or lack of this, that, and the other is ridiculous. There are brothers and sisters, they're fucking suffering.
Yep.
And the people that are woken up as suffering, watching this, or that they're hiding themselves into a higher level and saying, well, it's their journey. It's their journey. They'll get there. Well, at a certain point in time, there's got to be a fucking hand up, right? There's got to be a help up. There's got to be something that comes out to help everybody. And as far as I can see at the moment, there's, without waking up on the inside, if you're looking externally, which is what you've been taught to do all of your life, you are not seeing the truth. Yeah. You are seeing blatant lies.
And that's the beauty of, you know, of going inside for a long time, you know, like versus somebody that says, like you just said, well, that's their karma or whatever. Well, fuck, you know, even if we do come around again and, you know, cycle back into another life form or something, it's still not fair that someone should die from so-called karma when it's bullshit. It's fucking, it's just, it's genocide is what it is, you know, like, and that's not fair. So we got to, like, that's why I care so much that I swear, because I fucking want everybody to have a healthy, natural life, you know, like that's what we're here for, is to live a happy, joyful, natural life, you know,
experience life.
It's that fucking simple.
Experience life's ups and downs, experience love, experience happiness, experience all this, that, and the other. Experience a little bit of down, experience a little bit of up. Now, unfortunately, the system's not built that way.
Yeah.
I was just chatting to a friend, and we will get on to a conversation, me and him and somebody else, and it will be lovely. But he was talking about the sins and of the past, etc. I said, okay, so every child that's born is sinful. Well, if you listen to the fucking scriptures, that's exactly the truth.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If you listen to every other, I'll be careful with my language. If you listen to a lot of the other information that's come out, that's the truth. Everybody's born with sin.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Fuck off is right. No, we're not. We're born as happy, free creators. That's what we're born as. And when we learn the crap, then we become sinners, because then we're buying into that sin that's already there in the human construct, the world of man, you know?
There is no sin. There's no right or wrong. There's just experience. Everything else is construct.
There's a lack of right. There's a lack of good. That's where the polarity in my mind. I don't like the word right or wrong either, Lee, or good or bad.
All right.
But there is polarity, and there's a lack of goodness that's out there. And that word itself is just fucking rot with fucking sin, if you want to call it sin, because the word lack is the bullshit. There is nothing but abundance. There is nothing but creativity. There's nothing but credit. And I'll rant on about the banking system later, but I want to let you continue your thought.
We'll do that one, man. We'll run through that fucker too. I appreciate it's your game, but we can both have a fun with that one. No,
yes.
The good and bad isn't about, like, it's light and dark, right? It's just an absence of light.
Yes.
Or whichever way you want to look at it. Again, please don't shoot me down for semantics. This isn't about being correct verbiage. It's about being passionate about what's best for everybody.
Yes.
And that's where I am. It's a fucking, for the last couple of weeks, I've been subdued. For months prior to that, I was very much more spiritual and compassionate to everybody. Now I'm like, no, fuck this. I'll carry that fucking sword and I'll swing that sword, and it's rightful, and it's just, and it's not for me. It's for the all now. And I don't care whether that's right or wrong. I'll let somebody else judge that. But what we'll not do anymore is shut the fuck up and allow this to keep going without saying something.
Yep.
And if I need to speak the truth through action, I'll do that. Fuck it. Whatever it takes at this point in time now. Enough is enough is enough.
Yep.
And this film, as enjoyable as it was with its plot twists and its turns, and as good as it will be when it finishes, needs to fucking draw to an end.
Yep.
And that's where I am a lot of this.
I got to ask you a question, or not a question, but I want you to speak to this, because this is something that I think a lot of these, followers of certain movements, okay, I don't want to point a finger at anybody either, but the movements that were out there following the Trump story for one, and then there's that other one, but when they talked about, okay, I'm going to go into specifics here and talk about that what do they call it? Like when they went into Capitol Hill, okay? And when you nailed it with what's his name? Come on, tell me. Jake. I was like, fucking A, that is so good that we've got between you and I and our little Tao Eternally group. We've got such intelligence, and I'm not fucking bragging. I'm just saying, like there's people in this group that all know what the fuck is going on in their little hood, right? And when you said that, and then so many people came out there and said, oh, look at that Antifa fucker with his fucking hood on and stuff, like, wake the fuck up, you guys. There's one, exactly. He came in there as the head of the military to oversee that operation of taking those goddamn fucking laptops and cleaning things up. He was the boss of that little operation, for Christ's sake.
I'm going to put the wizard hat on now and go fucking mad at two. Yep.
Exactly. So go over that one a little bit more for me. Like I led into it for you, but let me hear your view on that one. I want to hear more.
Well, I don't really care about it because it's all a fucking stage show. And the problem is that there was a media storm, a cytocline storm from the media. But when you actually look at what the media said afterwards, they actually said Jake wasn't Antifa. Now, if anybody doesn't know what Jake is, he's the guy that was wearing the shamanic dress. And I'm not going to call it bullhorns or anything else because it's shamanic. It's his shamanism. It's his spiritual dress. So it means a lot to him. You can take the piss, laugh all you want. You probably shouldn't. But at the grand scheme of things, there's this guy who's shamanic, walks into a place and then is designated Antifa by the Patriots. Okay, brilliant. So what actually happened was some fucking mainstream media put a picture of some geezer up. There's no fucking video of him at the time. It's just a picture. And the Patriots immediately jumped on the back of this guy's Antifa. And the mainstream said, no, he's not. And Patriots like, well, he must be, because he can't be a Patriot. And even the mainstream are saying, no, he's not Antifa, because even they didn't want him. They didn't want him being designated as Antifa. And, because they knew he fucking, it wasn't shit. It's not what it was. They can't call him that. We got to say, no, it wasn't. And they're like, whoa, Bessie, take a fucking breath and take a step back. What did you see? Fuck all. You saw a television presentation of something that means nothing. Turn it off. Turn it off. It's lying to you. You can't find the truth. Stop fucking looking for it and believe your heart. Go into yourself and just ask what the truth is. Stop going outside and, oh, he's this and he's that. And you're all judgmental. Everybody's judging everything that's happening. And when we're judgmental, we're reacting to emotional states that were created through the indoctrination, through the same people that are making us judgmental.
Yep.
And they're just showing us images. That's all they're doing is show us an image. And we're running like fucking screaming, herding cats. Screaming, Patriots are patriots. Have your heart in the right place. You have, and I know you have. And then all of a sudden you're jumping on board with all this bullshit. Jake, ex-Marine, ex-military, or whatever he was, ex-Navy, whatever he was released to do an awful lot of stuff. I could go into an awful lot of stuff he's done. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that he's done is not on video anymore because YouTube removed him a while back. There is some stuff on Rumble if you want to look at it, but don't bother because it's all bullshit and staged. It's him in a fucking room telling you what is. But that's bullshit because the mainstream's told you he's Antifa. No, he didn't, actually. It was the Patriots told you he's Antifa. Mainstream said he wasn't. Oh, he probably was Antifa. Fuck it. BLM probably too. He wears horns. He wears horns. He's supporting Baal and Moloch. Jesus Christ, guys. At a certain point in time, there's a level you get to and you say, I don't know enough to make a decision. So don't fucking make one.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it on board. Take the info on board. And don't make it a paradigm, and don't make it a decisive base for your whole concept of what today's going to bring. Just let it wash over you and say, okay, well, that happened. I don't really understand it, but I don't need to put pins into it to say that's what I think it is. Just
Perfect.
it is what it was. It happened over there somewhere, and this transpired, and all of a sudden you're involved in it and judging it because somebody's told you what to believe. No, let it go. Oh, who was he? Don't know. Well, leave it then.
Yep.
If you do know,
and go inside and ask yourself, okay, what do I want as far as leadership? Do I want some kind of a gong show movie like this that you know pretends that, let's just put it this way for a secondly, and I'm not pinning anything down either like you are, I'm just opening up the conversation. But do we want leadership that hasn't even got the balls to stand up to a bunch of fucking goofs that are standing outside of the Capitol Hill and say, no, you're not coming inside? Do we want leadership like that? If we're going to have leadership, shouldn't they actually be able to say, no, you're not coming in, just stay out there and protest all you like?
if they wanted,
so those are the simple questions that we need to ask ourselves if we're looking for leadership at all.
Simple questions. Let's go back to simple questions then. Let's have a look at simple questions. How did they get to the most secure building on the plane net?
Exactly.
That was guarded by, and there was how many peaceful protesters? Million? I don't know. Fuck knows. And what happened when they got there? Nothing really. Laptops got stolen and information got taken from the people that were bad. And then impeachment started. Let's start on simple questions. How the fuck did anybody get into the most secure building in the planet? Plain net. He's with horns, wearing a fucking shamanic dress. Apparently, and he broke his own way into this heavily secured place and was the only fucking photograph, apart from a few others. He may have got shot a bits. And yeah. What are we looking at? What are we taking on board? And what are we believing as a whole? And don't get me wrong, Randy, I get fed up with the bullshit that I'm watching. The problem is, for most of us that watch it, we're just laughing at it because we know it's funny. It's just a comedy show. It's a fucking sketch show. Even the continuity is bullshit, you know? I had to explain to Giza earlier what continuity meant. I said, watch Biden's inauguration and just watch the camera pans and shots. You'll see what continuity means. The same people should be stood in the same fucking place at the same time when cameras switch. That's what continuity means. Not some fucker disappears and some prick's got a different color mask on and somebody's wearing different shoes. Each time in real time, the camera shifts. But maybe it's just me that notices that, you know?
Well, let me go back a little bit and tell you something I noticed. Okay, so there's another guy out there, and again, I'm going to name a name, but I'm not judging him. Okay, I'm just laughing along. Charlie F, and he put out a video that showed the whole story about Trump, you know, because he's a big Trump supporter, and I think Trump is Jesus Christ in his mind. I'm not sure, but I kind of think so. But anyway, he's got this video out of Trump, and it showed each of his meetings, you know, going to the Wailing Wall and taking the soccer ball from Putin, and what else? Shaking the hand of fucking Kim Jong-un, and all of these things, and winking and tickling the hand. Well, I don't know if he did the tickling the hand of the Pope, but at least he was winking, and, you know, the Pope was sitting there like this, pouting, and he was smiling. I mean, Charlie, if that's not fucking movie material, then what is? Come on, buddy. You know, don't tell me that Trump had all of this planned and he is the Messiah and he's the one who did all of this. That was a fucking movie too. So give me a break, you know, like
I don't mind Trump as the front man. You know,
I don't either, but just know that he's a front man. That's the key to this thing. Everybody gives me shit. Oh, what the fuck? You're not a Trump supporter. Of course I am. As a fucking movie actor, which is all he is, he's just the front man in the movie. He's got, if you think that he's some kind of a goddamn chosen, what the fuck, Saint Gabriel, or they got all these names for him and everything in his fucking
I
past.
don't know.
Yeah, but he's related to this and he's related to that, and
I'm going to draw a
his
different.
father was Tesla and all this shit. Like, come on, you guys.
I'm going to draw. See, I don't know. I'm not going to stay with that one. You can be on your fucking route. That's fine.
Okay.
I saw Trump as a system breaker in 2016.
Yes.
I saw Brexit as a system breaker in 2015, 16. I don't know why I said system breaker. I have no idea what a system breaker is.
That's a good word.
That isn't designed for the system. It breaks the fucking system. It's something that's come from an abstract area into this. It's a cog in the work. That's a better way. It's a spanner in the cog, whatever you want to call it. So I saw him as that. Now, my my research has led me to believe that he's a Cyrus. He's a system breaker. He may be there through a divine measure as a Cyrus because of the way he was brought up, because of the way he interacted with all of this through his upbringing, to a point where he may be not what we would class a chosen one, but nevertheless chosen because for whatever reason he fits the role.
That's right.
And the role is a system breaker to stop the spanner in the work, in the works. But the works have already been created, and the spanner needs to go in there to stop the works in action.
Yep.
To break the system. Now, somebody else behind that understands the system. No, don't tell me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Trump understands some of it, if not all of it. He may well fucking know a lot more than I give him credit for. And yeah. I'm not going to judge any geezer, but
right.
For the period of time that he's been in front of this camera, in this position, the only thing he's done is work for the all.
Right. And that's where I'll jump in again, okay, Lee, because, I can make fun of him all I want, and I can go back even further and talk about Trump University that supports the idea of the mortgage, and that knowing what the fuck that bullshit is in my mind, okay? But I'm not going to go there. Oh, I just did.
You have.
But let's go beyond that.
2 times.
But let's go beyond that and say this, okay, and admit myself that I got a fucking ego too, and I got a past, and my consciousness has been rising in time, just like fucking Trump, okay? So he is working for the people. I do believe that as an actor, and his consciousness has been rising over time. Like he just said, look at, I'd never really made millions being a fucking genius fucking real estate guy. I got it because I got credit, from the banking system, just paid a little administration costs, which I preach about and talk about. And that's the fucking truth, okay? Anybody that wants to fucking call me on that, you call me on it, but it's the fucking truth. He didn't make his millions because he was a fucking genius real estate investor. He made them because he got into the credit system and got money for nothing, which is how fucking most of these cocksuckers that build these fucking towers in every one of our cities are at it. Okay, it's that simple.
In one aspect, I'll just throw a slightly curveball.
Sure.
He never got drunk on it.
Right. That's good. And you're right. So I'm going to defend him again, okay? Because there's fucking a lot of them out there, way more than him, that are not anything but drunk on it, who are still putting their fucking names on towers, like Brookfield agencies here in Calgary. Fuck's sake, come clean and fucking tell the truth, you cocksuckers. Like your building has got a 20% occupancy rate for how many years, and you aren't broke? Like, why? Okay, why? Because you're not part of the fucking plebe dweeb system, okay? You're just getting money for nothing and putting your name up there like a big shot. So you're right. Trump came out, and that was the beginning, maybe, of his coming clean and saying, fuck it, I'm going to work my ass off and my life off for the people, like what you and I are doing, Lee, because I care so much, I fucking swear. And one lady said to me, I care so much, I don't care. Well, that's the truth. I don't care anymore what anybody says about me or thinks about me. I'm here for fucking you. I'm here for the people, and I'm not fucking stopping. And I'm going to fucking expose this goddamn bullshit fucking story of debt every goddamn day of my life until it fucking ends, because it's just bullshit. There's nothing but credit out there, and there's no need for one single fucking child to go hungry. Not single fucking homeless person to be on the street. There's no need for that. These towers are goddamn fucking full of empty office spaces. Put them in there, and look after them, because you're responsible for their fucking addiction too. Humanity, I'm talking about here, okay? And not blaming anybody in particular. It's our system, our fucking human world system that fucked everybody over. And we're all part of it. And until each and every one of us wakes up to even close to the point that Lee and I are at, we're going to continue to fucking falter, okay? So everybody has to go inside, take responsibility for their own lives, and start thinking about the all instead of themselves all the time. There's a rant for you.
Fucking fist bump, brother. Fist bump. No, it's not a rant. It's the fucking truth. There you go. Boom. It's the truth. and the truth needs to come out, right? So let's fucking spit the truth. Now, what is the government? It's a fucking retail branch of a bank.
Exactly.
It's not a fucking government. We don't vote them in. That's pseudo. What is a government? It's a corporation. It's a corporation for at profit from the people. Shit me down. What's legislation and regulation and all this bullshit? It's bullshit. It's not for the people. It's for the few. What does law look after? The weak. Who are the weak? The fucking few. Who are the few? The fucking government. So the law looks after the corporation, not the people. Who set the law? The corporation, because they deceived us in saying the weak need to be looked after. Yes, they do. You idiots, because there's not many of you controlling the rest of us. So even deceit in that is malfeasance and deception. And what part of humanity, what spark of divinity has to deceive and use malfeasance and obfuscation to create wealth for that individual soul, as opposed to everybody? What part needs to stand on somebody else and fucking laugh at them when they get higher? Of humanity, of spark of divinity needs to do that. None. Everybody with a fucking soul and a heart that beats wants to look after their friends, their neighbors, their family. Well, what we need to realize is every single frigging person on this planet, whatever you want to call it, is your family. It's not the frigging next door neighbor or your direct, but this is what's been created through this structure. And the whole structure needs to, unfortunately, my friend, fuck off. I know you enjoy the build never against and build with. Yeah. But when things are wrong, we don't say, well, we'll just make it right. It'll be okay. We just live with it. You've got a wolf that's eating your legs and you just, oh, it's okay. He's just hungry. No, you stop it. Stop it. I don't know why I came up with wolf eating your legs. I got nothing against wolves or legs. But
give me a minute here,
whoa. This is.
I want to take that back. Not take it back, but I want to expand on my working with and never against. Okay, so working with and never against in my reality is getting right into the fucking heart of it. Okay, and if I go in there with a fucking knife, I'm dead. Okay, so I had to enter these goddamn buildings that I'm in right now with that attitude of working with, to infiltrate it, okay, and to play fucking chess with these cocksuckers and to fucking say, when I'm in there, I love you, okay, because you're just human, but you know that I'm here for the good of all, and you're not going to fucking get rid of me, okay? And that's what I mean by working with and not against. And I'm there, brother, and you know it.
Okay.
Like I've shared some stuff with you, and I can't share it publicly because nobody will fucking believe me anyway. So that's number one.
They don't believe me either.
But it doesn't matter.
I don't care.
But there is, and guaranteed, there is a monetary shift happening here that's going to fucking blow the minds of people. And it's going to be so beautiful when it happens because, as you said, governments, court buildings that are managed by SNC Lavalin here in Calgary Court of Queen's Bench, all that fucking complete, utter nonsense is all part of the banking system to control, exploit and manipulate the flow of funds, okay? Because if you think for just a second that some child is hungry, why are they hungry? If there's all kinds of money that's available, if there's no limit to that money, I don't give a fuck how corrupt the government is. If it's available on a private level to someone to go into that country without the government stopping them and give that food to that child, then that's all about money. Okay. So it's never about anything else in my mind anymore. It's about exposing that idea that there's no limit. No limit.
It's worse than exploitation. In the UK, there's food banks, right? And there's charities. We know the charitable CEOs and what they're earning. There's all of this stuff. The high street's not a high street. You know, we are high streets where it used to be full of people and shops where people could go into them and buy shit. Now it's full of betting shops and coffee shops and charity shops where people don't go in and to buy stuff. They just donate to other people. But they're donating to a CEO's fucking wage, or they're betting on their vulnerability because I need to become rich because I'm struggling with money. So I've got 50 quid. I'll bet it on a horse. Fuck, I lost it. Oh, well, I won't eat for a few days. Now, who's benefiting from those shops? Who's benefiting from those? And this is what my friend was saying to me earlier. He said the high streets are dead, but the governments tell us they're alive. Yeah, but they are alive to the government's eyes, because that's just malfeasance. That's just lies. There are shops. There it is open. It's open. Look. Yeah, but none of those are any good for anybody. They're all parasitic. Everything is parasitic. Nothing's symbiotic. All the symbiotic stuff has been removed by you fucking parasites and replaced with parasitics. And now you're telling us, yeah, but it's still open. No, it's not. Not for the all, not for the normal, not for the common man, not for the natural born spark of divinity. No, it's not. It's actually open for your narrative and your agenda of division, destruction, manipulation, selfish, arrogant, self-fulfilling fucking prophecies. and this is what's purported throughout every single part of media, every single part of modern day information transactional exchange through these control structures are designed for selfish end game. We know this. We know this. We can see it. All we got to do is look outside and see the people walking around in masks. 85 years old, can barely fucking breathe, full of all sorts of conditions, wearing a fucking mask. Because they might catch a cold. Oh, sorry, COVID. And having the injections and the fucking nasal swabs and because I've got to do, I can't go into there because I've got to do this. No, none of it's true. None of it's true. None of it's truth, and none of it's humane. Nothing of what you see outside of you at this point in time is humane. It's all anti-logos, anti-Christos, anti-fucking Christ, deceptive manipulation and destruction of the human. Us, divinity, to control and to squash and to oppress and suppress. End of. Yep. That's all that's being seeded at this point in time into the fucking. Unfortunately, the separation of the heart and the spirit, the heart and the mind, the indoctrination process, which doesn't allow us to balance. Yeah. And this is where we are. And there's no blame. There's no finger point.
Well, you know, that's an interesting word that I've pondered my whole life too, is that word blame. When we know there is Patsy, cryonist, Bilderberg, you know, whatever language you want to choose to describe that very small group of people, when you know that they're there. So, you know, what gets me on the alternative media is that you'll get the people that say, oh, it's okay, like you said, the karma thing or whatever, you know, like they're going to die anyway, they didn't wake up or whatever. And then you get the warriors out there that drum up the anger,
passion.
And I found, Yeah,
Passion.
but I found the best thing, okay, the best way, because they're so fucking embarrassed and they think they're goddamn the most intelligent humans on the planet, and they've got this all figured out. And as you've said and I've said, we doff their hat to them. I don't doff my hat to those fuckers anymore. I laugh at them, and
Well,
that's the one that pisses them off. Is when you can get above them with humor, when you can laugh at them and call them fucking silly dumb fucks, because that's when it really pisses them off. And I've experienced this with some pretty fucking high intelligence people. And when I make fun of them, they fucking run. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Just in the courts, even, like one time I got to tell this story quick. And I mean, I may have told this to you before, but I was in front of a judge and he was laughing. Okay. He was laughing at this lady because she was losing her home. And she said something about, well, you should check into those money laundering Chinese people that are coming into Vancouver, and which city by us, eh? And this judge starts laughing at her and laughing with the lawyer who was going to take her fucking home from RBC. And I finally stood up, and he says, "Who are you anyway?" He thought I was her lawyer or something, I guess. And I said, "Justice Amicus Curiae." And he says, "Well, what do you want?" And his tone went from laughter to just this, And I said, "What I want is for you to quit your laughing." I said, "I think that's really ridiculous. And do you want me to laugh at you?" I said, that's just the same thing. I said, "You guys are being pathetic by laughing at this lady who's in the process of losing her home to a system that's completely out of whack here." And then I stopped. Holy fuck, did he get mad? And he was just up one side and down the other, threatening me. "You're going to throw me in jail for contempt of court." I just stared at him and smiled, grinned,
Yeah.
You think you're going to get past my fucking humor, you dumb cunt? Excuse my language. Oh, that was a nasty word to drop. You dumb bastard. You're not going to get past me, and I'm going to laugh at you. And I fucking started smiling more and more. And he got up off his chair. His face was red. He fucking left the courtroom. I looked at the lady I was with. I said, "Now what?" "Well, I guess we might as well leave, like he ain't fucking coming back." But that's one little example of laughing at those bastards. And honest to God, if they get on my nerves in these banks and stuff, and I've got another option to work with, I'll laugh at them bastards right in here too. And I do it quite often. And it can be called arrogance. I don't give a shit anymore.
Arrogance.
No, you want to fucking make fun of me and make fun of the humanity for falling into this goddamn bullshit lack trap. Fuck off. I'm going to laugh at you, you dumb
Arrogance,
bastard.
my friend. It's not arrogance. And on that list, what it is actually peace. You're in a position of peace to be able to laugh, and in a position of almost, I wouldn't say joy, but it's a little bit.
I'm in joy.
Yeah. But the anger response is it from a position of ignorance.
It's a position of ignorance. They are, I shouldn't say ignorance. They think they know more than me, but they don't.
Because it's led them into anger, right? And anger is a position of ignorance. To become angry, as I was saying to somebody a bit earlier, is a position of ignorance because you have no fight in that game. You can't laugh back because you're not above it. And when you're above it, you can laugh at it in a kind of construct. When you're looking at something from an abstract position, you can laugh at it and laugh with it. But when you're involved in that position and it's very much what you do and you're prideful of it, as soon as you become laughed at, you become angry, which is a position of ignorance. And
I'm really sorry I used that C word. I was thinking court, and it just came out. I apologize. But we did that at the beginning of the show, remember?
No. Let me quantify Randy for that one, because that's probably my fault in a certain way, because earlier on today, we had a quick conversation prior to this call, and I did apologize for possibly the use of a lot of expletives, including that C word, which may come out of me at any given point, because let's be fair, being triggered by a word is not my fucking problem. It's yours. And if you've got a problem with words from passionate, honest, human, divine, masculine, frustrated, but righteous,
authentic,
then maybe you should have a think about yourself. There's no reason to apologize for that. I'll just put that little caveat in there for you.
Thank you.
So governments, yeah. So who funds a corporation, guys?
We do.
Do we?
Well, fraudulently.
Oh, no. I mean, when it's first made.
When it's first made.
Sorry, I'm talking to Randy. I'm not talking to the fucking camera. I'm sorry, Randall. Who funds a corporation when it's first made? The bank. No? Do we not go to the bank to say, can we borrow some money to fund this corporation? I presume we do. I do. I've done that in the past. And you go to somebody that's lend me money. Well, who lends government money? The big banks, the international ones, the owners of the money, maybe. The owners of the government, maybe. Funds them, not finances them like would happen in normal realms of business. So maybe the bank is like funding the retail branch of the government with credit. Now, how does credit become tangible money assets? Probably by creating debit. Now we can call it AU, AG, and PV and fucking S antimony. We can your little spiel on that one. I just look at it differently, right? So there's a credit developed through a government retail branch for at profit, and then it needs to create an income. How many employees does the government have? Indirectly and directly? Quite a few, relatively. So the corporation of the government has credit funding and yet pays people and delivers tax back. Why would they need to do that when they haven't had to borrow it? They were given it. Does it create an income source from nowhere that's looping this way, but not back? Why do governments need to employ so many people, indirectly and directly? Why do governments not enjoy entrepreneurs, people that earn their own money and have to be trusted to pay tax? Why do they want to control everything, to produce remuneration for credit that had no debt attached to it in the first place, but now becomes debt filled when it hits the government corporation and comes back? Why is there scarcity? Why is there division? Is that through the mainstream media? Who controls that? Oh, the government does it. Why is big companies not paying tax like Amazon in the UK? Why do they get away with that? Is it because they take a lot of people off the street and pay them fuck all and then deliver money back through taxation? Why would you tax a friend that takes all these people away from and pays you back for them? Why do they hit the little guy so hard with the taxation levels that the little guy has? Why have we got to pay for water? Why have we got to pay for heating, food? If you can't afford food, you've got to go to a food bank. Why is there food banks? Why do they exist? Why are charities there to look after children? Can't we? Why do children need looking after with charities? Why are people starving? Why are there homeless people when the government is taking our tax money to look after us? In the UK, for instance, why have we got a 300 or whatever it is going to be 100 billion rail link going in? But we need charities and we need food banks and we need to see the homeless and give them a few quid of our little bit of pocket change to keep them whatever they are. Why is that occurring when our government is supposed to be looking after us? At what point do we actually turn around and say, enough's a fucking enough? We now understand that the government is a corporation at profit against the people. It's not elected. The people behind the government that looks, the front pages of the papers tell us that these are the people that are telling you what to do. The people behind are the people that are telling us what to do, telling them what to do. And the people behind them are funding it. And the people behind them are controlling it, blah, blah, blah. At what point do we get this and say, no more? It's a simple say, no more. No, fuck your rules. Sorry if I use the word fuck, but fuck your rules. Fuck your propaganda. And I do like the term propaganda. It's a Cockney window shopping. You'll probably miss that one in the terminology. They're having a propaganda. It's a proper look at something, right? Propaganda. So fuck your propaganda, because that came from a past. What did you say the word was?
Patsy.
Patsy.
Patsy cryonists.
Patsy
We're
cryonists.
gonna name this. We're gonna name this show Patsy cryonists.
Fuck your propaganda. Fuck your lies and deceit. Fuck all of the indoctrination, and fuck your teachings. You know what? Time's over, son.
Yep.
Time's over.
And now, you know, I think we're probably getting close to the end of this one, Lee. I'm getting comfortable here, but I wanna end it from some, you know, call it hope if you want, but from inside information from somebody that you might think is a goofball. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, brother, before you push down this, I don't know how long we've been on.
Okay.
Quick look. I don't even know what time we started, so it's a free flowing organic thing.
Okay.
Before we move into Endgame,
okay.
I want to put a slightly thing in that everything I'm saying and everything we are saying, believe us, is with joy in here.
Exactly. Thank you.
Fucking joy. All right. And it's a delight to be able to say this, and it may come across as completely different. It's not. It's joy not for me. No, it's not. I'm not benefiting myself. I'm way past the point of no return, as is Randy. This isn't a case of individual frustration. Well, it is for me, a little bit of frustration, but I know very, very well that the future for us all is so much more than we can ever imagine at this point. So please understand that with the verbiage I've used, etc., etc. Please carry on, my friend.
Okay, so verbiage is the thing that I wanted to talk about, you know, because we get that left wing, right wing, Democrat, Republican language into our minds, and that's driven in from that looniverse level, right? Yeah. And good and bad, even, you know, like that's the same thing. It's just the same fucking bipolar bullshit when everything is polar, and we are in a transitional phase of humanity. Okay, but think of this language when you think of banking. Okay, think of it as private versus public. Okay, the public aspect of monetary system had shifted so far that even the capitalist governments wanted more and more and more control, if you want to use that word. I don't like to use the word control, but they were fucking squeezing. 40% of our workforce in Canada, at least 40%, is government related. And then in the other 60% of private business, that's all controlled by fucking central bank that is a government as well, that only allows to certain fucking entities that build these towers and stuff like that. And that's where the change is. Okay, that's where the switch is happening, all under the cover of this COVID fucking bullshit story for the last year. Okay, and that's what's happening, is that we're going to see private funding so that individuals like ourselves and hundreds, if not, not hundreds, thousands and thousands of more actual conscious human beings, business people that think in terms, that have consciously woken up to the idea of all, rather than self, rather than their company, rather than their corporation. Thousands of us are going to receive funding that's going to end up going direct. Fuck the government. They couldn't look after the social programs, so we're going to feed the kids ourselves because it's going to come through funding anyway. So what the fuck? Am I going to say, I own the company, so I should just build more tech stuff? No. Number one on the list is get this food supply and our brains healthy again from that child up to the adults, because our food supply has been fucked over so bad by chemicals that it's not even funny. So that's happening, folks. That's happening. And we are in the midst of that, moving away from that outbalance of public being the key to private. Okay, private money coming through peer-to-peer without that central bank government. Okay, new world order fucking government that told the what we know as governments what to do. Okay, because we know of the Trump administration or the Trudeau fucking government, corporations, all of them, we think of them as governments. No, there was a new world order government that told them what to do. And that included the fucking banking structure of the central banks Federal Reserve, World Bank, BIS, IMF, United Nations. You go on and on and on. It's all that structure that failed, and we're replacing it. And we're replacing it from the inside, which is why I talk working with and not against. We're inside that fucking structure, inside that fucking eye of the dragon, whatever you want to call it. And we're fucking working our way out again. So that's the truth. And that is coming. In spite of all of our laughter and our anger and our passion, not our anger, our passion and our enjoyment of tearing this thing down in our minds, it's not being tore down, it's being built up.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. So thank you, Lee.
Absolutely, my friend. And the whole point is building, right? It's creating a new. You know, I wouldn't say their structure failed. I'd say it got fucking beaten. It was clever. And it's been around an awful long time.
Yep.
But it was inevitable. And inevitability is where we are. And it's inevitable that the meek shall inherit the world or the earth or the plane net or whatever you want to fucking call it. And we are on the cusp of that inevitability. Now, I'm a little bit frustrated by the lack of truth for the masses, for the malfeasance and the obfuscation of the truth, for a little bit more disillusionment and a little bit more compression and a little bit more counsel saying, well, they're not quite ready for it yet. Fuck off. Yes, we are.
Yep.
And I don't care about how many pieces of shards of humanity I've got to pick up afterwards and sweep up and fucking put back together again. I'll spend my time doing that. I'm more than happy to do that. But let's just get rid of the fucking bullshit now and say it as it is. This is over. It is done. Now, let's build the new. And this is where we are. This is where we need to be. This is where we need to be en fucking masse, not fighting our brothers and sisters, not blaming or pointing fingers at anybody. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what was. It's what's going to be. And a little bit of a crack in a wall, a little bit of a thumb in a dike isn't going to stop this flow, this currency, this new humane, all-encompassing, heartfelt cuddle of humanity. And that's where we're going to be very, very shortly, guys. And I'm looking forward to it massively. And as much as frustration and frustration and impatience can be something that holds you back, it's also something that sends you fucking firing forward once you come out of it. I go, go on then, son. Right. So this is moving into the new, right? We're fuck the old. We can laugh at the old now, my friend. We can laugh at it with smiles, and we can tell it for what it was, and we can see it for what it is. Lies, obfuscation, lies, and deceit. Is that going to be the way of the future? Well, that depends on what people want. I, for one, want truth, honesty, and love.
Brother, I'm going to say my thing, and then I want you to end it with some more. Because, and first off, I want to say to people out there, we gave our notice at the beginning that we care so much that we swear. But please, if you see, like, we get, we don't get very many shares, even Tao Eternally, like there's a few hundred people, and I know there's people that just love what we're saying. So feel free to share this. And don't be afraid if you're supporting a couple of fucking foul-mouthed cocksuckers that swear a lot, because we care so much that we swear. Don't worry about that. It's us that'll take the heat for it. Share this thing. Share some raw truth from a couple of bald-headed fuckers that just can't hold back anymore and are not going to ever hold back. But we also think in terms of peace, harmony, love, abundance, and freedom for everyone and everything every day. Abundance, sovereignty, health, love, and euphoria for all. That's on my mind. And I believe Lee will end with some words that'll share that sentiment. We love you. We love you. We fucking adore you, humanity. All of you.
I can add to it symbiosis. I can add to it youth and health, and it doesn't matter. The point being is it's not coming from a point of an individual. It's coming from a point of a whole, of a mass, of an all, of an understanding that there is no one single individual. Everybody is inseparable, and we're all related, and we all are one, and that's the point. And the language doesn't matter. The language can offend. The language can upset. The language is an indoctrination. Fuck it. And I don't care anymore about. I never really did, you know, about language. There are certain words I won't. Fuck it. It is what it is. And brother, love you, love all of you, love every single fucking particle of every part of everything. And if I say it, fuck it, and that offends you, well, you've missed the bigger picture.
Beautiful. Thanks, brother.